Hello and welcome back to EAC, the movie, TV show, and video game review channel that hopefully gives you a little bit of a basis on whether one of those things is good or bad. Today I'm here with my friend Ben, and we are going to be reviewing 47 Years Down. It came out 2 years ago in 2017, directed by Johannes Roberts, starring Mandy Moore and Claire Holt as two friends who go diving in a shark cage and get trapped 47 years down when the cage that lowers them down into the water malfunctions, and we have some jump scare sharks that pop out every once in a while. And we watched this movie not in theaters because it kind of looked pretty bad. We saw it when our friend John said that it was the worst movie he's ever seen. So we were like, okay, let's see how bad it really is. He also said that A Quiet Place was really bad too.
Yeah.
So we didn't know what to think of this movie.
Video potentially coming soon.
Yeah, of A Quiet Place. And yeah, so we saw this movie kind of with low hopes, but also kind of optimistic that it might be better than what he said. But yeah, this movie
he's a
bad.
very judgy person.
Yeah, he said another like really bad movie was really good, so he's like kind of all over the place. So yeah, we saw this movie with kind of mixed reviews going in, but when we came out of this movie, we both kind of had the same idea. And what'd you think of it?
I liked the plot of it. I thought it was pretty good, although there were a lot of questionable parts, like you said. There's some really creative parts, and then, of course, there are some really, really bad parts.
It's like they're trying to make another serious shark movie, unlike The Meg, which was, like, kind of jokey. Like, literally when someone would die in The Meg, it would be seen as a joke, when in this movie, it was these two girls trapped underwater at 47 years down, and when it popped up, when they like were looking on their wrist thing, and it was like how many years down they were, it was just like you just knew that was gonna pop up with 47. It was like roll credits, CinemaSins, and yeah, the acting in this movie, Mandy Moore and Claire Holt, they actually weren't that good. Mandy Moore is in like This Is Us. She was in a movie with John Krasinski and Robin Williams, so she has some like good names to her resume, but she really wasn't that good in this movie. The acting was pretty horrid. They would be like, I need to get to the cage or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was kind of repetitive of what they were trying to do in the movie. They would kind of have they were just sitting in the cage for the whole time, and their oxygen was slowly depleting, so that was like kind of another issue that happened. Also, the boat captain who lowered them down into the water, he seemed really shady.
I am the captain now.
He seemed like really shady on the deck. He was like looking at the girls.
That was kind of the point,
and stuff like that.
Though, too.
Yeah, like to have.
It was
they're
supposed to be
in Mexico.
they're in like
Cancun,
Mexico, I think.
Yeah, they're in Cancun with like a random guy that they don't know.
And they knew it was illegal, I'm pretty sure, or they gave hints that it was illegal and now it's shady.
And yeah,
but they still did it anyway.
Yeah, and the guy who was in The Dark Knight Rises, he was one of the cops. Which I was surprised about. He was like a weird old shady guy who was like looking at the girls weird, and that storyline didn't really go anywhere. Like it didn't matter in the end. It was just kind of a weird guy. And there was also a lot of procrastination by Mandy Moore's character, who's kind of the main character, and then her friend. Or no, is it her sister? We don't even know the two characters. Is it her sister? I'm gonna look at the movie.
Yeah, hold on.
They are sisters, not friends, and our bad. And yeah, so Mandy Moore's character just kind of sits on the boat the whole time, procrastinating if she wants to go into the water or not. And Claire Holt character, which is her sister, she's kind of wanting her to go, and she's like kind of the more edgy and extreme one. She's like, oh, go into the shark cage with me. And Mandy Moore doesn't really want to. There's a lot of like pointless time given to her if she wants to go in or not, because we all know that she's going to go in anyways. Like, we didn't need that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so, I mean, our friend said that this was one of the worst movies he's ever seen. I don't think it was the worst movie I've ever seen.
But I can see where he's coming from at
the
same time.
It was pretty bad.
I feel like there could have been a potential lot of deleted scenes in the plot cases they were trying to go for. Like, at times you could tell that they were kind of testing out different.
It was like jumbled. The plot was like, okay, let's have these characters do this and then
but
go back to the
boring.
cage, and they're like, yeah, and then they're coming up with stuff as they go. They're like filling in with like a crayon as they go. They're like, okay, now they're gonna do this. They didn't really have it all planned out. It was kind of jumbled. And there is one hallucination scene because they are losing oxygen, and Mandy Moore's character, when she thinks that, and these are spoilers coming up, so if you haven't seen 47 Years Down or want to in the future, then don't listen to this part. But Claire Holt, she thinks that Claire Holt is dead, and I'm not even sure if she dies in the end or not, but
One of them dies.
it must be clear.
Remember it was the only good jump scare in the movie. It
It
was when
went-
she was swimming. I think it was to find the harpoon.
Yeah,
The harpoon or something, but she was swimming, and of course I don't know which character it was, but she made a risk, and then the one good jump scare is you're like in a first person view and you're looking around the ocean,
Yeah.
and then the shark just comes out of nowhere. That was probably the only somewhat decent jump scare that
Yeah, 'cause
could have potentially got you.
those POV shots like kind of work, but when it's like showing them like third person, them swimming, and then a jump scare shark comes out of nowhere. It's like sharks wouldn't really do that in real life. In The Shallows, which I think is like a pretty good shark movie, one of the better ones in recent years, the shark doesn't make these jump scare things. Like the character sees it coming. Blake Lively, her character, sees the shark coming, and like that's what makes it scary. This movie just has jump scare sharks, and sharks wouldn't do that in real life. Like they don't know that they're in a movie, and it's accompanied by a giant boom noise or something that is trying to make you jump. And yeah, so the hallucination scene. One of the sisters is apparently dead, and we have this hallucination that Mandy Moore's character, she is in the cage by herself. Her oxygen is going down, and she has a hallucination that her sister comes back into the cage. She's like outside the cage. She gets her out. They start going up into the water, or to the surface of the water, to the boat where they're trying to rescue them, the people on the surface of the water. And they pull them up, and then I'm pretty sure like the shark comes out of the water and is about to chomp on them. But then I'm pretty sure the hallucination ends right there. It might chomp on them, but it doesn't matter because it is just a hallucination. And then we see Mandy Moore sitting in the cage, still by herself,
but
because
she's
it wasn't
like
real.
kind of out of it. She's like this.
She's
like,
out of it,
just
and I'm
standing
pretty
there,
sure,
like,
if I remember
and then
correctly,
when she was
she's
on the-
laughing.
Yeah, because on the
She's
boat,
like-
she was laughing out of joy because I think she was hugging her sister.
Yeah.
Or she was hugging someone, and she was laughing out of joy. But in the ocean, it's kind of like creepy because
It was
kind of like
it
laughing.
was creepy. That was one thing that I did like. Like
That
she's
was
just sitting in the
creative.
cage laughing like to herself, and the camera zooms out and goes like farther away. And I was like, if this movie is about to end like on this note,
I remember we were talking about that because then it cut
if
out.
it
cut
ended,
out.
that would have been like the ballsiest movie ending. Like, oh my god, like when
That
the
would've been
character
so
is still
sad.
in. It would have been sad and like kind of. It wouldn't have been that good because you wouldn't know if they really got out. But you could just assume if it did end that way that she
They
did
didn't.
die. But if it ended that way, like and suddenly
That
the
would just
movie
be
would have
that
just
just
make
make
better.
me really depressed.
Yeah,
But it probably would have gone
Is
better.
what this movie
I feel like
needed.
I would have given it a better score though.
yeah.
That's the
It
thing.
would have been. It was pretty ballsy by Johannes Roberts, who, by the way, in the opening crawl when it shows the title for 47 Years Down, he has his name above it. He says Johannes Roberts, 47 Years Down. Like this is a good movie.
Or
This
like
movie,
it's gonna be a series or something.
yeah, it's like that, or actually is a series now because
Oh,
Engaged.
true.
It literally says on Google.
Or
I look.
a good series.
That's true. And he puts his name above it, like it's going to be a good movie. And this movie was originally supposed to go straight to DVD, which should give you a little bit of a sign that this movie wouldn't be that
It's
good.
like when it's in selected theaters.
It's like, wait,
It's like
there's like an anime. It wasn't it was Norm of the North, I think, with Rob Schneider.
that trailer was not pleasing at all.
Have you seen the animation in that movie? It was like, it looks like a kid drew it. It was so bad. That was meant to go straight to DVD too,
Yeah.
and it didn't. I think like these studios just pick up the movie and they're like, we'll put it in theaters, why not? And that was like this movie, and it wasn't that good.
And it's like it's take your parents to die while the children
Oh my
find
God.
it boring.
The Emoji Movie, and yeah. So, your thoughts?
I feel like although it's a cool idea, and I'm not saying it was a bad idea, but I just feel like it didn't really work out the way they wanted it to.
Yeah.
They're kind of going for a thriller, I feel like,
Yeah,
more
not-
than but they were trying to make it into. They're kind of forcing it into a horror movie when really it was more of
They
a thriller.
didn't need to do that. It should have been.
They
a
were
thriller.
definitely. You could tell they're forcing the horror on you when it should have been like, oh, the shark attacks, but not like horror movie.
like a jump
The
scare.
only good jump scare they had was the POV. But other than that, I mean, they kind of just forced the whole plot of it.
Yeah. Also, speaking of the POV, I think that's when she's like swimming up. I think she's like looking around, then the shark comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, she's looking around because she grabbed it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, speaking of that, there are a lot of shots of them swimming up towards the thing, and then they have to go back to the cage. It just gets
oh my
repetitive
God.
after a while. They leave the cage, go back, and then after a while it just gets to be that same thing after over and over and over again of them just doing that same thing. So yeah, for this movie, for 47 Years Down, we both have different scores, but say like your standard for scoring, because my scoring, it's like, I think of, is it better than Gravity, which is my highest ranked movie at the moment, which is an 8.5, or is it worse than Dark Phoenix, which is my lowest rated movie at 4? That's how I interpret my scoring, but tell them how you do your scoring, because we do have different scores.
Of course, my scoring is different since I'm kind of like a guest on the show.
Yeah.
So I really have, of course, different opinions. But I gave Phoenix, I think, a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Around there. And then Gravity I've never actually seen, so I have no say on that. But I would probably give 47 Meters Down probably a 5 out of 10, because I still think Phoenix is better than it. I won't go into reasons why, of course, because that'll prolong the video. But I feel like it was right down the middle. It was kind of entertaining at times, but at other times it would just be completely repetitive with all the subplots.
Yeah.
And of course they did push the horror when it should have been considered a thriller. But it was a very I thought it was kind of a creative idea to do, and it seemed like it could be really good, but of course it went downwards. That's why it's in my book as a 5 out of 10. But of course my scoring is different, so.
Yeah, my score for this movie, I gave Dark Phoenix a 4 out of 10. So for this movie, for 47 Years Down, I'm going to be giving it a 3.5 out of 10. And that's because it kind of is the same, like, your grade is 1 below Dark Phoenix. Mine is a 0.5 below Dark Phoenix, so it kind of makes sense, our scoring, just you gave Dark Phoenix a bit of a higher grade. Yeah. But yeah, we both kind of have around the same ones. We both felt the same about this movie, but it's just like other movies that weigh our grades to be a bit different. I mean, this grading thing, like, interpreting other movies into the movie that you're reviewing, I might, like, not really care about the grading, because I might give one movie higher than, like,
after you do
Gravity.
like maybe like
after
100
a while,
movies, it's gonna be
it's gonna be all jumbled. It's not gonna be like even. Like,
again, it's opinion based.
Yeah,
too. It's mediocre.
It is a mediocre movie, mediocre shark movie.
It's there to fill up that theater spot.
Yeah, and it's just a throwaway movie that probably no one is really going to remember, except for this one review, and then after this, we're just gonna zone it out.
Move on.
Yeah. To Uncaged, which comes out later this year. See it in a theater near you. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. Thank you, Ben, for joining me in this review.
I knew that was gonna go south
immediately
after this.
Thank you, Ben, for joining me in this review. Thank you all so much for watching this review. Look forward to more videos from me in the future, guys. But for now, I want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you all later. Goodbye.
Bye.